Hello there, my name is Emma Strain. I am 48 years old. I live in Northumberland in the northeast of England, which is on your way to Scotland. So I was a hairdresser for about 28 years and I grew up in a family where my dad was an artist and had never really sold any of his work, but I could always remember him sketching or painting or drawing. But I'd never really took much notice. It was all about music for me when I was younger. Although I did study graphic design at school, it was mainly art that I was most interested in. My mother is into arts and crafts. She designs and makes her own cards and knits and sews. And my children are all artistic and creative. And actually, to be honest with you, a lot of my influence and motivation and inspiration comes from my children. The majority of the artwork that they produce is manga and anime. But whilst my oldest child was studying art, he produced some really good pieces of abstract art, which I thought was amazing. Where I lived as a child, there wasn't a huge influence to do with art. It was mainly music in the school that I went to. Although the art teacher that we had was good, he was very old school. I was talking about a long time ago. But influences from my childhood now in my artwork, there isn't any. I'm influenced mainly by flowers. Definitely love botanical watercolour. And abstract, I go from one medium to the complete opposite. With abstract, you've got free rein. Sometimes I don't really have much control over what comes out. It can be purely accidental. Whereas watercolour, when we're doing botanical, it has to be more precise, more accurate, more controlled. The stuff that I'm focusing on right now is a set of quite large abstract pieces with the emphasis being on gold and the elemental name for gold, which is AU. And I've always been more drawn to silver, but I did a big golden abstract, well, black and gold actually, abstract piece for an American client of mine, and I felt very inspired to do more. And so that is my next goal. I'm going to do 10 of these black and gold abstract pieces that are 1 metre by 1 metre. And it may well be in an exhibition in a local gallery, of which I'm not going to announce until I know for sure that that's where it's going. Some of the things that I've used, which I've then realised that some artists have used the same techniques, is by using like quite unconventional items in the house. And I did have on the Dancing in Chaos abstract painting that I did, which was an acrylic. The paintbrush that I had was super old, but a favourite of mine. And the bristles started to fall apart. And I let it fall apart and I left the bristles on the painting. So it was an happy accident, which I didn't think would work at first, but then it actually turned out to look pretty good. So when I'm painting, I'm either painting, the same goes for when I'm sketching stuff out as well, I'm either in complete silence or I listen to a podcast, because I'm also a qualified holistic practitioner. So quite often I listen to other holistic practitioners talking about all things spiritual, and I'll have that playing in the background. So that's sometimes what I'll listen to. But I quite like doing it in silence, to be honest. I find it therapeutic. I find it relaxing. I don't really need to have anything in the background. Where I live is extremely quiet. There are no noises from outside, from cars or passing traffic. It's all a very quiet area. The best reaction someone's had to my artwork would be when I sent my first painting to America. I've sent 3 paintings out to America now, and it was very exciting, especially when I saw it hanging in somebody's sitting room and they're on the other side of the world. It was quite surreal. What do I hope people take away from my artwork? Well, artwork is therapeutic for me, so I'd have to say that I wish the same for other people. It should be therapeutic. It should bring joy. It should bring happiness. It should add to the aesthetic of somebody's house. It should be a pleasant gift to either a friend, family, loved one, or purely for somebody buying it for themselves, which I actually think is the best present. When somebody buys a piece of art just for themselves, because of what it creates or brings to them